dealing with them Texas boys, them folk got hit up. Them folk got hit up. Everywhere you go to, like the Fed watching. You know what I'm talking about? He signed that boy right here. That boy ended up going to jail. So they watching that boy so close right now because they you know what I'm talking about? The case is in August. You know what I'm talking about? I talked to Govan. I did an interview with Hernandez Govan, the dude who set the whole supposedly, you know what I'm saying, Dolph murder.
How I feel right now? 100%. I don't with nobody. And I'm finna make everybody regret playing with me.
And so people saying Memphis rapper FastCash C-Money just passed away. For the people that don't recognize him, he had the viral song How Me that went viral. If I ain't tripping, I think that's his biggest song, but he sadly...
If I love you, I'm in love with you. I don't give a fuck how many times we get it, we bump heads.
That's real.
You make me mad, I'm in love with you. Don't.
C-Money is dead, but the real story is far from over. Big Boogie just started dropping cryptic warnings, hinting that the same deadly game that took his friend could be coming for him next. Betrayal, power moves, and secrets inside Memphis' hottest rap label. What really happened behind the scenes? Stay tuned, because everything you think you know about C-Money's death is about to be turned upside down. Big Boogie has dropped a bombshell, suggesting that Coney might have been deliberately sacrificed, and pointing the finger squarely at Yoti, the head of his own label. For years, Boogie had defended Yoti and CMG in public, standing loyal through thick and thin. But that allegiance seems to have shattered. His revelation lifts the veil on the true circumstances surrounding Sean's death, casting a harsh light on those who may have profited from it. By exposing the inner workings of CMG, Boogie has ignited a storm that could shake the label to its core and threaten everything Yoti has built. The message is clear: Boogie isn't sticking around to watch CMG crumble. Now, the burning question on everyone's lips is whether Coney's death marks the ultimate betrayal within CMG, or if it's just another strategic move in the high-stakes chess game of Memphis music scene.
What happened, gang? They just said my got killed.
The whole situation was triggered by a short social media clip from Big Boogie, where he talked about making someone regret messing with him. It was one of those quick videos where he didn't show his face, yet his tone left no doubt. He wanted his message to be taken seriously.
How I feel right now? 100%. I don't fuck with nobody. And I'm finna make everybody regret playing with me.
The whole controversy ignited from a brief social media clip posted by Big Boogie. In it, he didn't even show his face, but his words were sharp and unmistakable. He warned that anyone who crossed him would regret it. That short, intense clip spoke volumes, leaving no room for doubt. Boogie meant business. Fans were initially left scratching their heads at Big Boogie's cryptic messages, but clarity began to emerge when he shared another enigmatic post on his Instagram story. He wrote about being fully invested in his daughter, himself, and his career, insisting that no one would stand in his way. Looking ahead to 2026, he spoke of daily growth, a rare reflection on his mindset, and his deliberate withdrawal from others. "Honestly, I don't care," he admitted, acknowledging that everyone who tried to play him only helped shape him has become. His focus is sharp, driven by a clear vision of the bigger picture: numb, grinding, moving forward. While he never explicitly named Yoti or CMG, the undertone was unmistakable. Fans quickly realized Big Boogie was signaling the end of an era. With rumors surrounding Sean's death already swirling, Boogie's words gave them weight, painting a picture that felt deliberate, calculated, and chillingly real. The confirmation that fans had been eagerly waiting for sent shockwaves through Big Boogie's followers, rippling across social media and sparking intense discussions among the Memphis rap community. What had initially been rumors and speculation suddenly gained a sobering weight. Weeks before his untimely death, Sean, known to fans as C-Money, had sensed the danger closing in around him. Yet, despite this looming threat, he remained steadfast in his priorities, resolute in his determination not to abandon the people who mattered most: his fiancée and children. His actions in those final days revealed a level of foresight, maturity, and care that extended far beyond the glitz of the music industry, highlighting the man behind the rising star. Coney's dedication to protecting his loved ones was evident in every decision he made. While juggling the pressures of a burgeoning music career, he meticulously worked to finalize a deal with Yoti, aiming to secure a contract with CMG that could elevate his career to new heights. It was an ambitious move, one that promised opportunity and growth, but it also came with risk. Kony was acutely aware that entering into a high-profile partnership within a powerful label meant stepping into a complex network of loyalties, rivalries, and potential dangers. Yet even in the face of uncertainty, his focus remained unwavering. Sources close to Kony revealed that he had taken concrete steps to safeguard his family in case the unthinkable happened. Understanding the volatility of his world, he had purchased a life insurance policy for his fiancée and children, ensuring that even in the worst-case scenario, they would be financially protected. This decision demonstrated a rare combination of pragmatism and love, a quiet but profound way to care for those he cherished most. It was not the gesture of someone thinking only of himself, it was the calculated action of a man who had accepted the fragility of life while striving to shield the people he loved from its harshest consequences. Even in his professional dealings, Kony showed remarkable foresight. Negotiating with a major label like CMG was no small feat, and doing so while maintaining a clear vision for his family's well-being was an impressive balancing act. Every meeting, every signature, and every deal point he considered was weighed not only in terms of career advancement but also in the context of long-term security for his loved ones. He navigated the pressures of the music industry with an eye toward responsibility, refusing to let ambition overshadow his personal obligations. The tragic irony, of course, is that these very efforts, his foresight, his dedication, and his careful planning, could not prevent the cruel twist of fate that would soon follow. While he was building a future for himself and protecting his family, the world around him was shifting in ways he could not control. The shockwaves of his death reverberated far beyond the music scene, affecting fans, collaborators, and the Memphis community at large. Social media lit up with tributes, disbelief, and grief, with Big Boogie's own followers struggling to reconcile the image of the rising, careful, and responsible Kony with the violent reality of his passing. Kony's story, particularly his unwavering commitment to his fiancée and children even in the face of danger, served as a stark reminder of the human side of the rap industry, where ambition, loyalty, and personal responsibility collide in unpredictable and sometimes tragic ways. The confirmation of his foresight, the knowledge that he had actively prepared for the protection of his family, added layers of poignancy to his loss, leaving fans not only mourning the artist but also admiring the man who had quietly planned to care for those he loved above all else. After his passing, Ka, his fiancée, launched a GoFundMe to cover funeral costs and set aside funds for their children's future. She also shared a touching tribute on Facebook. "Courtney taught me so much. I'm so grateful we got to love each other. You took my heart with you for real. All I can do now is play your music to hear your voice." The heartfelt gesture resonated with many, underscoring that Kony was not just a rising star, but a devoted family man who carefully planned for the people he loved. A document recently surfaced on Reddit revealing portions of Kony's CMG contract. Whether Yo Gotti had given his blessing or not, it became clear that C-Money was now officially tied to CMG, effectively painting a target on his back. Yet Gotti stayed silent. No posts, no honors, no celebratory trips, no financial support. That silence spoke volumes, confirming what many had feared. Seone may have been sacrificed for profit, leaving his family in a vulnerable position. For context, just a day before his death, Kony had signed with Yoti's label. He was celebrating his new deal with friends when a car pulled up and gunfire erupted, an incident later captured in publicly released footage. Multiple nearby homes were hit, according to police reports, but tragically, Seone became the fatal victim. Was it sheer coincidence, or did the chaos of the attack provide the perfect cover for his targeting? Even before Yoti took him under his wing, Seone had already built a name for himself as an artist. The CMG contract promised to elevate his career, but it soon became clear that his vision didn't align with Yoti's. Gotti, however, brushed off the tension, acting as if nothing was amiss. Seone noticed every warning sign, but it was Gotti's increasingly suspicious behavior that ultimately set off alarm bells. Tensions had long simmered between Young Dolph's PR team and Yo Gotti's CMG crew, a rivalry deeply rooted in Memphis street politics. When Hernandez Gon was arrested in connection to Young Dolph's murder, the stakes rose even higher. Gon's close ties with Big Juck made it easy for people to connect the dots. Some saw Big Juck's death as karma, others labeled it an act of revenge. Initially, most CMG artists seemed eager to cooperate, and many benefited. Doug, Moneybagg Yo, Black Youngster, GloRilla, and 42 all profited from their association with the label. But after Young Dolph's murder, cracks began to show. The very gang ties that once bolstered Gotti's power started to expose the darker underbelly of the business. CMG artists gradually faded from the spotlight, leaving only GloRilla actively representing the label. In response, Gotti shifted tactics, operating in silence and reducing his public exposure. Rumors suggest he consolidated control by cutting ties with anyone unwilling to follow his lead. Black Youngster, one of Gotti's most loyal enforcers, stayed fiercely committed, ready to carry out tasks even Gotti might hesitate to order himself. This unwavering loyalty had long served Gotti well, giving him an edge in the high-stakes world of Memphis hip-hop. Seone had once been involved in organized operations, playing a role in the underworld that intersected with CMG. But Gotti had other designs. At first, Coney overlooked the warning signs, but as Gotti's behavior grew increasingly suspicious, he realized that his connection to CMG had placed him in serious jeopardy. He wasn't just at risk from Gotti's schemes, his life was exposed, even behind bars. Gotti wasn't seeking just another artist, he was seeking a means to an end, and Seone became collateral in that pursuit. The news of FastCash Coney's death sent shockwaves through the entire CMG collective. Big Boogie felt the blow most acutely. His first social media post laid bare his grief. He tagged Coney and wrote, "Jesus, brother, my heart hurts. My favorite rapper since day one, I'm devastated, boy." The loss hit him so hard that he cancelled his own birthday celebration, explaining on Facebook, "I'm right here in Memphis. Birthday bash cancelled. You all are lame." The depth of his sorrow was palpable. Later, he tweeted again, tagging Seone with nothing more than a sobbing emoji. No lengthy tribute was necessary. Those few characters carried a world of pain. To the casual eye, it might have seemed like mourning a friend and colleague, but to anyone attuned to the tension in the rap scene, it was a clear signal of the deeper turmoil and betrayal running through CMG. More than mere grief, Big Boogie's actions reflected a deliberate choice to stay silent and avoid sparking further violence. Fans picked up on this strategy, praising him in Facebook comment threads. "That was smart, bro. You just saved lives." He threw a pool party in Atlanta instead of Memphis, knowing it could have gone wrong there. Handle your birthday in Atlanta, gang. It was clear that followers were closely monitoring Boogie's cryptic posts after Coney's death. Each message hinted at something larger. In one, he warned, "Everybody's going to regret what they did. Watch this." In another, "Going silent is my final warning." No one listened before. With C-Money gone and Yoti unusually quiet, these statements felt less like random posts and more like calculated warnings. Tensions escalated further during a chilling no-jumper interview with Stan G, who issued a stark caution to Black Youngster and the rest of CMG. He warned that Yoti doesn't hesitate to interfere with people's lives, not just their careers. Them Texas boys, they got hit up everywhere they go. Even out in the field, they are being watched. You know what I'm saying? That boy I signed, he ended up in jail. Now they are watching him like hawks. Cases in August. You get what I'm saying? I spoke with Hernandez Gon, the guy tied to the Young Dolph case. The intensity of the warning underscored just how high the stakes had become, sending a clear message. Anyone connected to CMG needed to tread carefully, or face consequences. While the CMG crew continued to mourn C-Money, a heavy sense of grief hung over the label. Artists, managers, and fans alike struggled to process the shocking loss of one of Memphis' rising stars. But amid the sorrow, all eyes quickly turned to Big Boogie, the one daring enough to break the silence, drop cryptic hints, and demand answers that no one else seemed willing to voice. Boogie's presence in the midst of the tragedy was magnetic. Every post, every subtle gesture, every carefully chosen word on social media felt like a signal, a breadcrumb for those paying close attention. He refused to simply mourn in the shadows. Instead, he became a focal point, a living emblem of both courage and peril in a world where loyalty and danger exist side by side. Yet even as Big Boogie emerged into the spotlight, a looming, unsettling question hovered over him like a dark cloud. If Yoti, the powerful head of CMG, had any involvement in Sean's untimely death, why was Boogie still standing? Why had he survived when others, like C-Money, had not? In the dangerous corridors of the Memphis music scene, silence is a fragile shield. And Boogie's choice to stay quiet, to withhold certain truths, offered no real protection. It was as if he were balancing on a knife's edge, aware that one wrong move could tip the scales against him. His silence, though strategic, felt more like a countdown than a safeguard. Each passing day, each understated post, and each cryptic tweet seemed to inch him closer to a potential collision with fate. The most unsettling part of all was the chilling possibility that Big Boogie might be walking directly into the same trap that had claimed C-Money's life. Observers began to realize that this wasn't merely a question of bad luck or tragic circumstance. C-Money's death had been a carefully orchestrated event, a move in a dangerous game of power, loyalty, and control. And Boogie, whether he recognized it or not, had stepped into the same high-stakes arena. His warnings and subtle provocations had drawn attention, but in doing so, they may have also painted a target on his back. The stakes were no longer theoretical. They were immediate, tangible, and deadly. It had become increasingly clear that the dynamics within CMG were far more complex than fans and outsiders could ever fully grasp. Beneath the glitz, fame, and success lay a web of alliances, rivalries, and hidden agendas that could shift at any moment. Relationships that once seemed unbreakable were now fragile, and loyalties were being tested in ways that could prove fatal. Boogie's rise to prominence in this environment was double-edged. While he had gained attention, respect, and influence, he had also entered a world where a single misstep could have irreversible consequences. Observers couldn't help but draw parallels between his current position and the tragic arc of C-Money's final days. Adding to the tension was the eerie silence from Yoti. The label head's lack of public statements or visible reactions to recent events only fueled speculation. In a world where appearances and social media visibility are currency, his quietness spoke volumes. It raised questions about intentions, about alliances, and about who could truly be trusted. Boogie's silence, contrasted with Yoti's own, created a vacuum of uncertainty, a space where rumors thrived and fear festered. For those within the label, this silence was not just unsettling, it was a warning. In high-stakes environments like CMG, silence is rarely innocent. It often precedes a calculated move, a shift in power, or a decision that could alter lives forever. Fans and insiders alike began to analyze every post, every subtle gesture from Big Boogie. A simple tweet or a short video clip could no longer be taken at face value. Every cryptic message was dissected, every ambiguous statement scrutinized for hidden meaning. Observers started to connect the dots. Boogie's careful withdrawal from certain social circles, his selective engagement on social media, and his public yet coded tributes to C-Money all suggested a level of awareness and caution that went beyond ordinary grief. And yet, even with this caution, the threat remained. The shadow of danger lingered, suggesting that Boogie was navigating a minefield where one wrong step could trigger consequences as dire as those that had claimed his friend. At this stage, it was no longer a matter of wondering whether Coney had been sacrificed. The signs were too clear, the patterns too consistent. The tragedy had revealed a calculated system where power, money, and loyalty collided with deadly consequences. Boogie, by continuing to assert his presence and speak his mind, even subtly, had inadvertently made himself a potential next target. Observers couldn't help but imagine the tension that must run through his mind with every interaction, every appearance, every message sent into the digital world. In a universe where betrayal and ambition intersect violently, Boogie's current position was precarious, a dangerous dance between survival and defiance. Ultimately, the situation painted a stark, almost cinematic picture of risk, courage, and inevitability. Big Boogie's bravery in confronting unspoken truths and honoring C-Money's memory came at a price. His silence, his cryptic posts, and his unwillingness to fully capitulate to the forces around him positioned him as both a beacon of integrity and a potential victim. For fans, insiders, and anyone following the saga, the question was no longer theoretical. Boogie's survival was uncertain, and the next move by those in power could change everything. The chilling reality was undeniable. Boogie may have unknowingly stepped into the same deadly trajectory that had ended C-Money's life, making every moment a precarious balancing act between caution, courage, and the looming shadow of danger.